got two new lithium batteries. This is one of them in the box, and this box is quite big. You can put my arm against it there. Yeah, I think they're bigger than what they sold them as, so we'll have to find out. Well, I've just unboxed one in the kitchen here, and I'll just change them over here so I can put a regular cable clamp on there. So this is what I've actually put on. Take the other bits out, I'll just show you this. This is for the other battery. Open it up. In this little box. Open it. We've got these terminals, and I put them in, and I've also put these bolts go on the top so I can fit the other type of connectors, and these are longer than the ones which are in the battery, so it gives you a bit more meat to play around with because I'm going to need to put 2 or 3 connectors under there, what with the solar coming in and the inverter coming off and all that sort of thing, so it gives me a little bit more to play around with. But yeah, so that's sort of going to make that job a little easier. I'm glad I bought them. I nearly didn't. They're about £7 a pair, but I think it's well worth getting. So yeah, so next job will be trying to fit these in, and here's a kicker. They're bigger than they're advertised at. These are about 53. That's 530mm long, and it says they're 495. My battery box is 500mm, so I'm going to have to cut the side out with the angle grinder and make a bigger box to go in. So we'll have to play around with that. Didn't plan on doing that today, but I guess it's something I'm going to have to do. I'm not sure how much filming I'm going to do actually fitting them, because I can't actually get in the engine bay and with the camera and everything, so I might have to just cut to the chase and you'll see it when I've done it. Right, this is the other battery now, that stays a bit away. I've just read the instructions, and it says if you connect more than one battery, if you connect up to 4 in parallel or in series, I'm doing them in parallel, you got to make sure that the voltage of each battery is within 0.2 of an amp of each other, otherwise you could get trouble when putting them to charge. Well, just check the other battery, which was at 13.1. So let's see what the voltage is of this one, if the camera's picking that up or not. 13.1 as well. Well, that's good news. I'd have to make them equal. Right, let's fit the new posts. There we go. I don't have a socket quite big enough for those, or a spanner quite big enough for those, so adjustable. Tighten them up. Right, good and tight. And as you can see here, that's the new bolts, and that's the original ones. So it gives me an awful lot more space to get connectors underneath there, so I'm going to use the new ones as well here. I'm just going to put them on hand tight, well, not even hand tight, just so I've got them to hand. Screw them in enough so they're not going to fall out. Right, that's good, and I'll just keep these old ones. You never know, they might come in handy one day. So this is actually my new batteries. Thought I'd better show you what they are. a haddock, which I've never heard of before besides being a fish. They're LiFePO4s, which is lithium iron phosphate, 12.8 volt, 300 amp hour each. So that should give me lots of electric. I get fed up running out of electric with the lead acids I've had for a long time, and they keep going wrong. Well, I had a problem with the last ones, why they went wrong. I'm not going to say any more than that. So yeah, I pushed the boat out and spent a fortune on 2 lithiums. This is the money I'd saved up to put my new kitchen in with. Oh well, kitchen I'll have to save up for again. The batteries are more important. I'm still making the new battery box for my new batteries. Pieces on my bed here. These are drying out after being painted. And pieces all around my kitchen. The base is on top of the cooker. Another piece there next to the sink. And another piece over here. And I haven't made the lid yet. Yeah. Quite a mess. It's coming along. This needs another coat yet. As you can see, it's a bit thin. But I'm getting there. Well, good morning. Or afternoon. Or whenever it happens to be. I'm back in the kitchen. But I'm not cooking. No. I'm putting together a battery cable. I thought I'd show you how I do that. So here we are. I've got a box of terminals, some battery cable, and this is the bad boy that's going to put them together. This is a hydraulic clamp for putting these connectors on, and I'll show you what we're going to do. Now it's quite awkward doing it all on your own. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our connector, like so, and we'll turn this on. We'll get somewhere near where we need to be. This is, as I say, it's hydraulic. We're going to take our connector, and we're going to sit it in here, and we're just going to, we don't want to crimp it yet, but we want it to hold it. We're a bit too far in. Just want to sit it right on there, exactly where we want it to crimp. Just not quite there. There we go. Now it's holding it, so it leaves my hand free. I don't have to hold it there now while I put the cable on. So we'll get the cable. So I don't have a cable stripper that will do this cable. So it's the old-fashioned way, with the utility knife, quite regularly called a Stanley knife in the UK, because that was the original versions of it over here. And we know roughly how much we've got to take off. If we look at one of the terminals here, that's how far we want it to go into the, it's going to go into the terminal, so we're going to cut it off about there. I'm just going to run that around. I don't have my glasses on to see what I'm doing here. I think I could have had a sharper blade as well. One of the most dangerous tools, of course, in the toolbox, this is. I'm cutting it there. I think I've got some, I've spilled some oil on it, it's a bit slippery. Let's get this back where I was again. That's it. I'm going to turn the cable now. Much easier to do it that way. So there we have it. Cable off, and I've retracted the blade straight away, as you see there. So now we can take our clamp, our hydraulic. So we'll take this, and we're going to just slide that into there. I've got to get my glasses, I can't see. Right, I now have my glasses on, I can now see it. So, It's going to go in there, like so. I didn't have it quite tight enough to push it through. So, there we clamp it up. And as it goes together, you clamp it up until these just meet. You don't want to over clamp it, otherwise you'll damage the tool. You can feel it, it just goes hard. There we are, we're there now. Just about, no, there we are, there we're there. So, release it off. And there we have one terminal fitted. And we can cover that up with a piece of heat shrink. Make it all nice and neat. And I'm just going to use this just to heat shrink it on. It does get a bit sooty then, it does leave it a little bit black, but there we go. One cable ready to go, so that's ready now to fit to the battery, or the other end. And I used the red cable rather than the black one to show this because I thought it showed up better on camera. So there we have it, all nice and neat and tidy. The battery went on me on the camera, so I've just changed it over nice and strongly on there. It's not going to fall off. And ready to go onto the battery, or as I say, the other end. And well, I've cut the cable to the length. It's going to be about there somewhere I need it. About a foot of cable. I can put the other end on. But until I've measured that up on the batteries, I'm not going to do that. I'm just doing this bit, one end inside. It's just easier in here. And once I've measured it up, I'll bring it back in and cut the other one. But you've seen what I'm doing now. So what I also will do is when I do the other end, is to try and keep the cable flat. So when I put in the when I put in one of the cables, the clamps here, when it goes back on here, so when the point's in the same direction, so you're not trying to twist the cable, so that will go on, say, somewhere like that, you know what I mean? To try and keep it straight, alignment. Otherwise, you're twisting the cable when you're connecting it up, which is not a good idea. But that's the only other thing to think about when you're putting the other end on. So, let's get back to it and get these batteries in. You may be thinking this was quite an expensive piece of kit to buy just to do a few cables, but I think it was $31.99 from not eBay, from Amazon, and the cable was whatever it was, a length, I can't remember now the cost of the cable, but I did work it out that it was cheaper to buy this and the cable and all the connectors than it was to have the cables made to length purposely for me. And the other thing was, I could do them when I put the batteries in, and I could measure it all up and make the cables all exactly the right length that I wanted. If I've not done that and make them myself, I'd have had to order them and wait a couple of days for them to turn up. So it's definitely, it was worth buying, and the cost was slightly cheaper actually doing it all myself than it was to actually get the cables made up. And I now I've got the tool if I ever need to do cables again, or help somebody out, you never know. So yeah, that's why I bought the hydraulic clamping tool, because it works out cheaper in the long run. You never know, do you, sometimes? And now I've got it, of course, forevermore. Well, here they are, in situ. My 2 new batteries in the new battery box, and all the 4 new leads that you can see there, the 2 red ones and the 2 black ones, coming off the lead acid battery to the lithium batteries are all the same length, so you shouldn't get any imparity between them. I say all the same length, perhaps half a millimetre or so difference, but you know what I mean. I cut them basically with a ruler exactly the same length, so yeah, you know, a millimetre here and a millimetre there is not going to make any difference. So there they are. Hope you enjoyed that. I'll let you know, I've been using them now for a while. They're doing absolutely great. So that just leaves me to say, thank you very much for watching. Trevor out.